My name is Janice L. Starling, and I'm from the lovely St. Petersburg, Florida. I am a true Floridian baby, born, raised right here in St. Petersburg.
All right, Floridian.
Yes, yes, you haven't met that many, have you?
Nope.
I kind of figured that. We're
Next,
rare.
next question. Please share your connection to donation.
Well, Bria, I am a kidney transplant patient. In the year 2000, I was diagnosed with hypertension, in stage renal disease. I knew nothing about kidney. I'm talking nothing. I heard about dialysis, but I didn't know anything about what dialysis was. And a doctor told me I had end stage renal disease. I didn't know what ESRD was, end stage renal disease. And then from there, I never knew that high blood pressure. Had high blood pressure since I was 18 years old,
Wow.
and didn't know that. I always took my medicine. As a young adult, and grew up and never knew my mother and my dad both had hypertension.
Mm.
So it's hereditary. All my brothers and sisters have it also. So when I was diagnosed, I was clueless, and then I said I need to learn everything I can about kidney disease. Well, in the third year or the second year of my kidney disease, I started doing peritoneal dialysis. I did all the different modalities over the. I was on dialysis for 14 years. I did peritoneal dialysis. I did in-center dialysis. From being on peritoneal, I saw the freedom I had on dialysis doing it at home. So once I had peritonitis and I had to go back into the center, I was like, okay, I got to do something else. So my sister heard about home hemo. She saw this article in the paper. So I called every number, learned out about home hemo, talked to my doctor, got my doctor to do home hemo in St. Petersburg. I was one of the first, that was the second patient to try home hemo. It was in December, and I got a call, and that's when I went back to Miami, my husband and myself, and that's when I went ahead and got the transplant on 12/13 of 13. It was a Friday, on Friday the 13th. So Friday the 13th is not bad for everybody. It was a blessing for me. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Wow.
and I stayed there for a week. Then I had to live there for 3 months, because you have to go frequently, and it was a challenge, but I got through. So
Wow.
from there, it's been 6.5 years since I had my transplant.
Thank you for sharing your story, Janice. Wow,
Yes,
that's amazing.
yes.
Thank you. So, next question. How has your life changed or been affected since your transplant?
My life has changed. I love to travel. Because of my transplant, I've always only traveled. Before dialysis, I only traveled in the USA. I would take my machine with me, Texas, New York, Boston, wherever I wanted to go, I would go. And but I always wanted to go out of the country. But I always feared taking all of the solution and the, the everything about traveling when I was on home hemo. But once I got my transplant, my sisters and my family, all of my nieces, we traveled to Italy. And I got a chance to spend a week in Italy. And let me tell you, we went to Rome. We went to the Leaning Tower, Pisa. I was able the freedom of having my kidney transplant. And the young man that chose to sign up for the organ list was such a blessing for me in my life, with the freedom to start a support group, to educate other people about kidney disease, to educate people about organ donation. That's my life mission now. So it gave me the freedom and a purpose to educate others.
Absolutely. Thank
Yes.
you. Next question. What would be your favorite quote or motto that you live by?
Now, I'm so glad you asked this question. My favorite quote and my favorite motto to live by is Romans 8:28. Romans 8:28.
That's my grandmother's favorite.
All things, and I always try to put my name in all things, for we know with great confidence that all that God, who deeply concerned about me, Janice, all those 14 years he was concerned about me, causes all things to work together for the good, for those who love God and those who are called according to his purpose, his plan and purpose. I'm learning the new Amplified version because it's just a good version. I know Romans 8:28, for all things are the good for those who love the Lord according to his will. Now that verse, because just think if I hadn't have gone through the 4 different stages of modalities of treatment, dialysis treatment, I couldn't tell anybody what it's like to be in center. I wouldn't know what it's like to be going through the process of transplantation. So those 14 years of education and talking to the doctor was a plan, and it worked good for his purpose. So now this is my purpose.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Romans 8:28.
You about to take me to church.
I ain't finished yet.
Thank you. So next question, what would be your message to those who are unsure about registering to become a donor?
One of the things that I want to get through to minorities of all races, we got to break the stigma because we are the highest on the organ donor list. African Americans, with our hypertension and diabetes, we are affected the most by the numbers of organ donors. For example, although African American comprise just of 13% of the USA population, represent 32% of US patients receiving dialysis due to kidney failure. So, because of hypertension and diabetes, kidney disease affects African Americans, and mine was due to hypertension. So, but what we do is we let things, the myths and the stigmas and the old urban legends, we let that stop us from getting on the organ transplant list. I just thank God that I don't know where this person signed up, or it was a 33-year-old man. And I'm just happy that he did, because if he knew that his kidney was giving me life to speak to other people, to tell them that you can't let the myth of what if I go into the hospital, they're going to make sure and kill me off. That's not true. That's a myth. If I register to become an organ donor, medical personnel will no longer attempt to save my life. That's a myth. I'm too old to become an organ donor. That's not true. Whether you're 9 days old or 99 years old, you can become an organ donor. Another myth, organ donation is against my religion. Oh boy, I got a lot to say about that. Okay, the decision to become an organ donor is highly personal. Having a misgiving about organ donation due to religious belief is completely understandable if that's what you want to do. But just think about who you can save. Fortunately, extensive research has been shown that all major regions take one of 2 perspectives. Now, morals. When you talk about morals, being a Christian, Matthew 22:36 says, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" Remember this. And Jesus replied to them, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment." Now, let's listen to the second one. It is like this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. That is unselfishly seek the best or highest good for others. The whole law and the writings of the prophets depend on these 2 commandments alone. So we got to get rid of the thing about love. We got to love each other. We got to get rid of the old myths and the old things about I'm taking to the grave what I was born with, what I have, what my mama gave me, show I naked I came into the world, naked I shall relieve. leave those organs, okay? Because you can help others. That's what Jesus did. He went and he saved us. He had to die. So you're saving somebody else doing the same thing he did. Let's look at this. Philippians 2, 3, and 4. Do nothing for selfishness or empathy, conceit through fractional motives or strife, but an attitude of humility, being neither arrogant nor self-righteous. Regard others as more important than yourself. Do not merely look out for your own personal interests, but also for the interests of others. And that's what we have to do. We got to put to myth those, because those are lies. Those are myths. That's not true. That somebody might try to sell my organs. That's not true. Mm-hmm. You know, my family were required to pay for an organ donation. That is not true. Those are myths. And we got to put those myths aside, and we got to pick up love. We got to think about how can you help somebody? Just think that young man, 33 years old, because of his kidney, look what I'm doing now. We got to put aside all of that, those lies and myths, and go ahead and register, because one of the things we don't like to register, and we're waiting. Other people are waiting, and we got to do what we're supposed to do. We got to show love. We got to be humble, and we also have to give.
And so last question, August is National Minority Donor Awareness Month. Why do you think this celebration is important to reach out to multicultural communities? And I'm sure you answered that in the last question.
And that was that's why I wanted to really stress on what I said previously about the myths and the snagmas and the urban legends, and people are going to take me away. And two doctors, your family, everybody has to sign off before you even, once you're an organ donor. It's nothing done in secret. And the stars are not going to say, go around and, looking for your blood type. And it's important that we as minorities take care of each other. We have to go ahead and sign up for the organ list, because when we're gone, you're gone, but you can help somebody else. And it's all about love and humility. And the greatest commandment we can do is love.